Diogenes of Cynic was a Cynic philosopher who lived during the 4th century BCE. When we hear the word cynic today, we often think of negativity or someone who distrusts the motives of others. But in ancient Greece, the Cynics were a school of philosophy that advocated for living in accordance with nature, practicing extreme self-sufficiency, and rejecting conventional desires for wealth, power, and fame. Diogenes is famous for his ascetic lifestyle. He allegedly lived in a large jar or barrel, owned only a cloak, a staff, and a small bowl, which he threw away once he realized he could drink water with his hands. Beyond his living arrangements, Diogenes is remembered for his witty and sometimes abrasive confrontations with societal norms. For instance, when Alexander the Great offered him any favor he desired, Diogenes famously replied, "Stay out of my sunlight." That moment perfectly captures his spirit. He had no interest in wealth or status, only freedom and self-reliance. So why should we listen to a man who seemed to have zero interest in money? Because his contempt for worldly possessions was grounded in aspiration for true freedom. At the heart of his philosophy, Diogenes wasn't against the concept of value. Rather, he believed most people end up enslaving themselves to desires that bring more stress than joy. In other words, the less you need, the less you can be controlled and manipulated. And, ironically, the more wealth you truly have in the currency of freedom. At first glance, it seems impossible to align Diogenes' extreme asceticism with healthy modern personal finance. After all, in the 21st century we have bills, taxes, and social responsibilities. But Diogenes wasn't just about living in poverty. He was about paring down life to its essentials. Today we can adapt this idea by focusing on minimalism, self-awareness, and responsible resource management. Minimalism has become a buzzword, but at its core, it means intentionally focusing on items, experiences, and relationships that add true value to your life. If you've ever gone through your closet and realized that you only wear a fraction of the items that you own, you've already encountered a taste of this principle. Diogenes would tell us to question every purchase. Do I really need this? Or is this just another bull I'll eventually throw away? By aligning your spending with your core values, you streamline your finances and free up resources, time, energy, and money for what truly matters. Diogenes believed in self-sufficiency. You shouldn't rely on external sources for your survival or happiness. Modern spend, build an emergency fund. An emergency fund is essentially a buffer that ensures that you can handle unexpected life events, like a job loss or medical expenses, without being forced into high-interest debt or drastic life changes. In a way, an emergency fund grants you financial freedom to weather life storms with minimal stress. It might not sound radical, but having a cushion for emergencies is one of the most empowering steps you can take. Diogenes challenged the notion that wealth and status define a person's worth. Today, we can channel this by resisting the pressure to keep up with the Joneses, or in modern parlance, to show off on social media. Instead of buying the latest smartphone every year, ask whether this is fulfilling a genuine need or just chasing validation. Aligning your spending with what you genuinely value, rather than chasing other standards, is a Diogenes-style move that can dramatically improve your financial health. Diogenes literally lived in a barrel, highlighting that a roof over your head is fundamentally about shelter, not about prestige. How do we apply that to investing? If you're new to investing, don't dive into complicated assets like cryptocurrency derivatives or venture capital deals just to prove that you're sophisticated. Stick to the fundamentals. Build a diversified portfolio, understand index funds, and invest in areas that you comprehend. Just as Diogenes chose a barrel over a palace, you should choose investment vehicles that offer stability and are easy to maintain, rather than chasing flashy schemes that might leave you in the financial cold. Diogenes was critical of trends and fads of his time. In a modern context, we see new investment fads popping up almost weekly. Before you jump on a bandwagon, take a moment to ask, is this consistent with my long-term plan, or am I just chasing the hype? If Diogenes would question Alexander the Great himself, surely we can question the hype machines on the internet. Diogenes prized wisdom, moral virtue, and autonomy above material possessions. In modern finance, consider investing in your skill set, education, and community. These are assets that can pay dividends in the form of better career opportunities, personal growth, and a supportive network, none of which can easily be wiped out by any market crashes. A pivotal lesson from Diogenes is that contentment is not the result of external wealth, but rather an internal state of self-sufficiency. When we apply that concept to personal finance, it suggests often financial stress comes from not knowing how much is enough. We chase raises, bigger houses, in luxury cars without ever pausing to define the goal. Diogenes' lifestyle reminds us that a sense of enough can be surprisingly little. If you take the time to define your personal enough, the living standard and financial buffer that lets you live comfortably on your own terms, you may find that you've overshot it. The realization can free up time, energy, and money to pursue more meaningful parts of life. Diogenes avoided markets and places where he'd be bombarded with temptations to consume. Today, temptations come in the form of ads, influencer marketing, and social media. Curate your online environment. Unfollow people and brands that entice you to spend on things that don't serve your goals. If Diogenes could walk away from Alexander's offer of riches, maybe we can resist the silent call of a 50% off sale. For his appreciativeness, Diogenes was content. The less he had, the less he needed. This doesn't mean we should abandon our homes and live on the street, but finding ways to appreciate simple pleasures can have a powerful effect on your financial decisions. Brew your own coffee instead of buying that expensive latte every day. Enjoy a peaceful walk instead of a costly entertainment. These small acts of mindful simplicity can accumulate into large savings, while also nurturing a sense of gratitude. Let's get practical. Here are some steps to channel a bit of Diogenes into your everyday financial life. 1. Make a lifestyle audit. Make a list of your expenses, every single one, and ask, does this bring me closer to freedom or further away from it? Reduce or eliminate whatever is simply draining your resources. 2. Have an emergency fund priority. Set aside money for an emergency fund in a separate, easily accessible account. Aim for 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses and consider your safety net. Remember, Diogenes didn't rely on others' wealth. You shouldn't rely on high-interest credit cards or loans in an emergency. 3. Automate investing. Automate monthly contributions to your investment accounts. This approach removes the guesswork in emotional decision-making from investing. If Diogenes had the hand on modern finance, he'd like to keep it simple and consistent, not overcomplicating it with daily trades. 4. Declutter and downsize. Start small. Declutter a single room. If you find things you never use, sell them or donate them. Fewer possessions mean less maintenance, less mental burden, and potentially extra cash in your pocket. This step is realizing how little we really need to feel content. And 5. Value-based budgeting. Align your budget categories with your personal values: health, learning, family, or creativity. Spend generously on things that nurture you and cut back ruthlessly on areas that don't align with your core values. When you strip away the unnecessary layers and find your personal definition of enough, you may discover a whole level of financial peace and autonomy you never thought possible. By focusing on minimalism, building a safety net, rejecting external pressures, and investing in what truly matters, both financially and personally, you'll be walking in the footsteps of a thinker who refused to be owned by anything or anyone. So the next time you're tempted to splurge or worry about not having the latest gadget, remember Diogenes and ask yourself, am I pursuing this for my own well-being, or am I chasing illusions? If you can be mindful of that question, chances are you'll make more aligned and liberating financial choices. Thank you for joining me on this journey in the world of Diogenes and his Cynic wisdom. If you found this perspective helpful or thought-provoking, go ahead and give this video a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more content on personal finance, philosophy, and finding freedom in the modern world. Until next time, remember to stand out of your own sunlight and keep money matters simple.